How's it going, everybody? My name is Ethen Preston. I'm a KastKing Pro team member. In today's video, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite ways to target and aggressively fish summertime walleye. It's a jig and wrap style of bait here, or a glide bait that they call it in the walleye industry because of this fin back here that when you snap it and it falls, it kind of glides around in the circle here. I got a couple colors, a couple of my favorite colors, where we're going to be fishing perch forage and white bass forage is going to be predominantly what we're going to be going for, fishing around, that kind of thing. That's what the walleyes really like to eat. So that's kind of where I'm matching the hatch, that sort of thing. So when I'm using these baits, I am targeting aggressive walleyes or trying to find walleyes that will just aggressively flip that switch and eat. Either I'm going to be triggering a bite here, or I'm going to be scaring the fish away. That's really what I'm looking for here. I don't have a lot of time. So when I do come across fish, I want to trigger them to bite, or I just want them to go away so I don't waste my time on them. And that's where jig and wraps for the last couple of years have really allowed me to do that, or these glide baits. So we're going to talk quickly about two combos that I like to use, and I'm going to explain each one and how I work the baits a little bit differently. First one we're going to use is a little bit longer rod. This is the 7-foot medium extra fast. This is a Sagai core spinning rod here. The Sagai lineup, I think, was announced last year, and I fell in love with this spinning rod. I use it a ton for bass fishing, but for the walleye fishing stuff, I like to make longer casts with this one. It is a little bit longer compared to the next one I'm going to tell you about. Extra fast allows me to snap the bait a lot. With these baits, what I'm doing is there's a couple ways I like to do it. I kind of bump them, which I kind of just pop in the rod, or you're ending up like setting the hook. Like every time you go to set the hook and your drag peels a little bit, that's how I'm working the bait. So the more aggressive you will work it, it's going to pop up and it's going to spin or glide around like we were talking about. And that's how it triggers those bites of those fish. And then we've got the KastKing. This is a Speed Demon Elite spinning reel. So the faster gear ratio spinning reel. So I'm picking up slack with this. Every time you're cracking the bait, you're picking up slack with it. And then once you do hook into a fish, I'm cranking it to the boat as if I was using the Speed Demon Elite 10:5:1 gear ratio bait casting rod if I was bass fishing. I don't want that fish to have any chance of shaking the hook or getting me in a bad situation with my bait. Set the hook, reeling that sucker in, getting it back to the boat as quickly as possible. This is the 13 Carrier X braid from KastKing. This is their 15-pound, and I'm running a 12 or 15-pound 100% fluorocarbon covert. And I usually run 15 if I'm fishing around rocks. I know it can be overkill, but I don't want to have to be retying all the time. I want to be fishing. We're going to be running the same reel on a different rod. This is the KastKing Wide-Eye Walleye 6/8 power jig rod here. A little bit smaller rod. I like throwing this when I'm not casting a long ways. I'm kind of flipping the bait around, maybe fishing isolated structure, or using some of the sonars on our boat to cast out and cast to structure individual fish. Or where I like this, if we're actually just being anchored up over top of a rock pile, a sand flat, whatever we may be, over the top, maybe some suspended trees. I like this shorter rod to keep the bait right underneath the boat. So I want to talk about kind of the places that I found fish with this is like I said, I know I mentioned a couple times, but in the summertime, walleye is going to be a little bit trickier, maybe not necessarily to locate, but get to eat, and I want to find the most aggressive fish. These baits do snag up quite a bit, so I try and be around rocks if I can, but not the big rocks or the riprap rocks. If you know what I mean, they become real snaggy, and you end up losing a lot of these baits, and they're not the cheapest things in the world to be fishing with. I love it in sand as well. If you can find any big long flats, they may have weeds on them, but if there's sand patches or holes in there, I'll either cast to them, or if it's deep enough and the water may be a little bit dirty, I'll go ahead and sit the boat on top of them and just vertical jig right on top. And this gliding motion going around, hitting the sand, snapping up again, it kind of stirs up the bottom and gets the fish to come to you. Otherwise, fan casting across rock piles or points, cast out as far as you can, just work it back to the boat. Like I said, either a bumping action or just kind of full on cracking that thing, and you'll know. I let it down on a semi-slack line. I don't want to hold it because then it's going to pull the bait back to you. I want this bait to have freedom of motion to go around in the circle like it's supposed to, but I also want to feel a lot of times if they're super aggressive, you go to crack this thing and it's going to come around the corner, a walleye is going to come and grab it and eat it while it's falling, and I want to be able to feel that through the line. Most of the bites though for me is once it hits the bottom, I go to set the hook again, and instead of feeling the weight of the fish, the weight of the bait, boom, you have a fish on. It's one of the most exciting things because you really don't know. It could be, you never know when that next crack of the bait is going to be hooked up with a big fish. So that's kind of how I like to work them, and kind of the areas I like to fish around. Mostly gravel is where I'm fishing around, but if you do find that sneaky sand patch, these can be deadly. So I hope you guys learned something. I just wanted to share that with you quickly as we're getting packed up going on our family vacation to go target some walleyes here in North Dakota. And I just wanted to share that with you in case you have a chance to get out and do some walleye fishing here this summer. It's worked good for us, and I'm excited to go back and do it again this year. So be sure to check out all the other videos on the KastKing channel. A lot of cool people doing a lot of cool things. Again, my name is Ethen Preston, a KastKing Pro Team member here, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned next time.